Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, welcome back to the DCL podcast, your podcast to help you and your family cruise a little smarter. And I'd like to welcome back to the show. We have both our co-hosts today. They're actually on the ground, not sailing quite yet. How are you doing today, Christy and Chris?
I am well.
Doing great. We had a plan to record today, Steve, and it had nothing to do with this itinerary release. So this was news to all three of us this morning.
Yeah, itinerary releases are always exciting to me. The summer one's always my favorite. Christy's giving a little thumbs down because although this is good work for you, which keeps you rolling and being able to take cruises, right?
Well, it is. The timing is not my favorite.
Wait, is this going to release while we're on the ship, Christy?
Hopefully this releases while we're on the Wish. So I will be buying premium internet, I guess. I also already have a client, one of my longest clients, actually, who has placeholders, and she has a couple of cruises that she needs booked on Monday. So we get to test that high-speed internet to see how.
Or maybe on your way to the port, you're going to be on your phone.
Oh yeah, because it's Monday. I'll just be on the phone all morning. Oh, that is so much better, actually.
Yeah, I would be nervous. If I were you, I'd be nervous to put my faith in anything that's called high-speed internet on a Disney cruise ship.
Yeah.
Although, didn't you guys say it was better?
We did.
It was way better than on the Magic.
I don't want to throw shade at it because it's clearly the best experience that Disney offers. And
that right there is the key phrase from a person who analyzes what people say is the best internet that Disney offers.
Yes.
Not that anybody offers. Not the best internet at sea, not comparable to the best internet at sea, but the best that Disney offers. But let's talk about this. This is exciting.
Yeah, this is going to be our Cabana show. We're going to touch on this. We'll touch on a couple questions we had from the Wish and kind of see where the show goes from there. But yeah, some big changes coming. And I'm just going to let Chris announce this. What's coming to the West Coast, Chris?
Y'all, I am shooketh because we are not getting the Wonder. We are getting the Magic, the Glory, the OG, the Aqua Dunk. We're getting the Magic on the West Coast. And I don't know if it's happened before. I haven't been with Disney long enough to know if this ship has ever even gone through the Panama Canal. But here we go. She's coming. And I'm super excited about it. It's something new. I
think all of our listeners need to know that we were texting when this release was coming through, and Chris is like, I don't care about this release, blah, blah, blah. I don't even want to be on this podcast. Then Steve goes, the Magic is going to the West Coast. And it was like Chris had a complete 180. She was like, oh, let's know more. And now she's been so like,
I've cleared my calendar for the day.
No. Now that you know Rapunzel's heading west.
Yeah. Well, because listen, we want our kid to get their Grand Slam or Royal Flush or whatever we're calling it when you go on all 5 ships. And if airline costs stay the way they are, I'm just going to need every ship to pull up in my backyard because I'm not spending $3,000 for a family of 3 every time I want to go sail on one of these boats. So ships, sorry, Disney. So I'm so excited a new ship's coming. The reason I was like, I don't know, y'all, if I have time for this is because we're packing and getting ready to fly tomorrow morning at the earliest hour because of our Wish cruise. And we're all like, do we have COVID? Do we not have COVID? What's going to happen? And it just is this high level stress of getting on a cruise in the pandemic era. So anyway, that's why I was not so excited, but I'm really excited about the Wish. About the Magic. So I take it back.
All right, Christy, you want to touch on what the Magic's doing, or do you want to touch on the Dream?
They're both kind of shockingly, there's so much happening. Yeah, let's just stick with the Magic since we started discussing her.
All right, we'll start with the Magic. So the Magic is going to come over in the elephant in the room is that the Wonder will be up in Alaska, finish their Alaska sailing in the end of summer of 2023. And we don't know what she's going to do next. There's speculation that we've talked about on the podcast. I know all of you have heard that before, is she's going to head down to Australia. That is yet to be determined, but probably that should be coming. Those are going to be hard. Those are going to be exciting things to announce by themselves. And so I'm sure that's why they didn't hide it in this release. Not that it would have been hidden at all.
like torn by that. I'm a little bit grateful that the Wonder's new location, if it really is happening, is in this, like, kind of wanted it to be here. And I'm also kind of happy that it's not.
So once again, speculation until it happens, but that's kind of our speculation from our podcast view, I guess. So, okay. So the Magic's coming to the West Coast. She's going to be sailing in October. Not until October will she come to the Panama Canal on...
Wait. I think that needs to be highlighted a little bit more.
Okay.
The Magic is going through the Panama Canal to get to the West Coast in October. That's not typically the month that it occurs. That's not typically the ship that occurs. This is like bling, 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 new, exciting.
Right. So 14-night sailing through the Panama Canal. She'll get back over to San Diego, where she will be doing Very Merry Time, Halloween on the High Seas, sailings down to Mexico, featuring 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 7-night sailing as well. I'm glad to see them add that 7-night sailing for us out here on the West Coast, because then you get to actually go down to Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and Cabo, plus 3 days at sea, which is amazing. And then she will finish up by hitting back. And this is, I think, a pretty exciting one too for you, Christy, a 14-night back to Galveston on December 3rd. And I think this has been on Chris's bucket list too, as far as doing a Very Merry Time Panama Canal cruise.
Yeah, it has. But now I'm sad again because what? It's only going to be here from October to December. What are you doing? All the kids are in school.
Thanksgiving. You have Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. I also don't have $20,000. I don't know what I'm going to do.
The Magic will be the cheaper of over Thanksgiving of the cruise options. I actually looked at some pricing already, maybe selfishly for my own family for the Thanksgiving cruises. And the Dream actually was pretty reasonable. So, I mean, reasonable, right? Compared for a Disney product over a holiday. It's amazing how our standards change. I imagine that the Magic will be pretty reasonable that week as well.
The West Coast is the best coast, and we got the best ship now. I love it. This is just, it's it put a smile on Chris and R's face this morning. So,
are you going to book, do you think?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We will definitely book the Magic, man. Matter of fact, I was thinking about when are we going to get back on the Magic again? Because we've got several cruises booked and none of them are on the Magic because she's going to be hiding down in New Orleans and Galveston and everything out there on the East Coast, which I think
I would commute.
Yeah, I would do New Orleans again. Galveston's not really in our cards necessarily, but excited to see her come out to the West Coast. Okay, let's move to the Disney Dream. As we all know, the Disney Dream will be over in Europe doing the European sailings in the summer of 2023. And then September 17th, she comes back on an 11-night transatlantic. It's on the south part of the Atlantic Ocean, going through Portugal, Spain, Portugal, and Kings Wharf, Bermuda, featuring 7 days at sea as well. Good to see her on the south side of the Atlantic. Sometimes on the north, it can get kind of stormy that time of year. She'll be heading to New York, where she's going to be doing one Canada cruise. And then these were really popular. And this is a cruise that I would like to do. I would like to do a Canada cruise, but the other one that she'll be doing is 4 4-night Bermuda sailings, featuring 2 nights, a double overnight in Bermuda in each one of those sailings.
But she also has 1 5-night and a couple of 6 nights
in Bermuda as well. That itinerary scares me because of the
Bermuda Triangle.
Yes, I'm a very superstitious person, frankly. No, because every time you see a video of a cruise ship going over like 80-foot swells, it's because they were sailing from the Northeast either south or back north, and
in the fall.
So I'm like, oh, Disney's really putting their faith in the Dream to get to Bermuda and back. But
she is a bigger ship.
She's bigger. She's got those good stabilizers.
The one thing that we should remember is that Disney is a very cautious cruise line, and they always will be. And so I guess for the listeners, there is always that possibility out of New York in the fall that your cruise itinerary could change. So maybe you think you're going to Bermuda and you end up in Canada. Disney will tell you about it ahead of time. But if there's like a potential storm, they're not going to sail through it. I think some of us can remember that.
Norwegian.
No shade on Norwegian, man. I got to defend Norwegian because Norwegian went around it. It was Royal that went through it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry. I mean, Norwegian is great.
Steve is so defensive.
No.
Norwegian always gets like everybody in the Disney community is royal. And Norwegian's like this little thing on the side.
I remember though, it was royal.
Yeah. Anyway,
it was royal. Let's give some celebrity slander. Remember that time celebrities sailed right into the eye of a storm? No, never happened.
That never happened.
Okay. Well, the point is, none of these cruise lines want bad business.
Nope.
And it's bad business to go into the eye of a storm and have everyone get sick or break their leg on the stairs. It's just not a good look. So these cruise ships are going to try to be safe. But it gave me a slight pause is all, because that time of year and the Atlantic Ocean is a little rough.
That is true, but
It
Bermuda,
be, for sure.
Bermuda, I've heard is just an amazing itinerary to stop at. I guess islands to explore, and the fact that they stay there 2 nights, just like all the other cruise lines do that sail down to Bermuda, I think attests to that. So really, that is the destination is going to Bermuda and having the 2 days there. Okay, so she does a 5-day and a 6-night sailing, like you guys said. Then eventually, and this is the exciting part, she does a 6-night down to San Juan through the Eastern Caribbean, featuring stops at Bermuda and then Tortola, 3 days at sea. And then she does a 3-night sailing from San Juan over to her new port, Christy.
But before she does that,
does she got something else?
She does a 7-night Southern Caribbean.
Okay, good.
Yes. So she actually will be doing one 7-night on November 10th. And that's to the ABC Islands and to St. Kitts. So, well, the A and the C island. It's actually a really cool itinerary. St. Kitts, Antigua, Aruba, and Curacao. So
you know what that makes me think of? Our friend from San Juan who got married or had her vow renewal. I feel like Glorian's gonna be on this ship just partying.
I think you're right.
Dancing the night away.
And then she's got the repositioning cruise that you mentioned, Steve.
The Dream is the winner of itineraries. I'm just saying, like, she's got all of these amazing summer itineraries. Then she's got the iconic New York sail away, right? Like you sail right past the Statue of Liberty on a giant Disney ship. That's
a lot. There's a lot of those sailings. Like she's sailing away out of New York a lot of times.
This is Disney's strategy, right? They build these new ships and they put them in boring or like less interesting itineraries. If you've never gone to Castaway, it's not boring, I promise. But as Steve has said, he's not really interested in the newer ships because their itineraries are so repetitive. But that frees up space for these other ships to go and do cool stuff.
Yeah, good point there. So she does the 3-night repositioning to Fort Lauderdale, which had been announced about a year and a half ago, I believe, that they were going to be sailing out of Fort Lauderdale. So she begins her sailings out of Fort Lauderdale, Christy.
And we didn't know when that was going to happen. So I feel like this is sooner than I even anticipated.
This is Port Everglades, right? I'm just trying to track. Okay.
Yep. So she does 3, 4, and guess what? There is a 5-night
double dip
with a double dip over New Year's Eve. That could be tempting.
I've never done one.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Christy, as far as, and once again, this is huge, basically, speculation. But generally those sailings out of Miami on the Dream have been pricing in a little bit lower than the Fantasy and the Wish at a Port Canaveral, right? For people just
1,000%.
Okay. So if you want to save a little bit of money and you're in Florida and you can make it down to Port Everglades or Port Miami to sail on the Dream, that would be one option for you.
Frankly, Fort Lauderdale is, in my opinion, a better cruise port to cruising out of. The experience is better. The parking's better. The airport is better, ? Because it's small. And so sometimes that means it's pretty crowded. Like at a cruise weekend on a Friday and Saturday or Saturday and Sunday, it is a little bit more crowded. But this 5-night with the double dip is appealing. December 28th. And for random people that listen that have kids in a Florida school district, just saying in 2024, our kids go back to school pretty late. So for at least maybe Central Florida school districts. So that's going to work for my family in case it's something I'm going to consider.
So for you down in Florida that want to do that double dip, that might be something to consider. Okay, we'll touch on the last 2 ships then, the Fantasy and the Wish, who have that iconic Port Canaveral sail away that everybody gets to experience as they go by fish lips. I know that's one of Chris's favorite sailaways, as he gets to wave at all the people down there at fish lips enjoying their beverages and whatever else they're eating.
Fish lips, and of course, sailing past the beautiful symphony of the seas. Love Port Canaveral sailaways. The fun fact is, though, I'm a fact collector. I love to tell facts to people, as Christy has learned. And it was so cute getting to show Blake the building that they build space shuttles in over on Port Canaveral or Cape Canaveral, wherever Kennedy Space Center is. And I was trying to explain to Blake, because if you look off in the distance, there's this giant American flag on the building. That American flag is the size of a football field. And when you look at it and you realize that is one football field, you realize this building is massive. And Blake kept asking questions, and it was cute and it was fun to talk about. So there are some cool things. Not that I need to defend Port Canaveral, but there are some pretty cool things right there. It's very unfortunately located next to the Banana River, the ugliest, most dangerous if you have an allergy to bananas river. But there's also a beautiful spaceport.
And please don't take our joking. This is just us having a little bit of fun. Any type of sail away on a Disney ship is amazing. Port Canaveral has a lot to offer as well. Okay, so the fantasy, I didn't really look at these too much. I don't think she's doing too much different.
Nothing new.
Okay, so 7-night Eastern, sailings. Western, and then the Wish, basically 3 and 4 days out to Nassau and Castaway Cay. Anything different there?
There is nothing different there either.
No double dips on the Wish, huh?
No.
Wow.
Well, reminder that when the Dream launched with 3 and 4 nights. And then the Fantasy, the second ship, launched with 7 nights. So I bet the Wish keeps its 3 and 4 nights. And they launch whatever the new ship is with a 7-night itinerary. That's just a hunch based on history. But
it'll make a difference if they change anything on it. If they change anything, I feel like they're going to want
a 7-night experience.
Well, but if they don't change anything major, but it's slightly different, then they're going to want the 3 and the 4 to cycle all the people through.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do we know?
Who knows? But I'm just curious because the Fantasy has been solidly doing these 7 nights since she launched.
Oh yeah. There will be a Triton class ship doing these 7 nights one day. It's just a matter of which ship that will be.
All right, let's talk about when to book. As Christy was talking about, Monday, July 25th is the early booking window for Platinum Castaway Club members. If you do not know your status, you can always log on to DisneyCruise.com. Make sure you double check your status too to make sure it reflects your sailing. Monday, July 25th, you can Platinum Club members can book along with our Golden Oak friends, all our listeners over at Golden Oak. And then Tuesday, July 26th, Gold Castaway Club members will be able to book. And this one's pretty quick. They're just bam, bam, bam each day.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, the summer one kind of gave Platinum and Gold a couple days to book before Silver Castaway Club members book Wednesday, July 27th. That also includes DVC members and Adventures by Disney Insiders. DVC members, you need to contact Disney Vacation Club to be able to book. And then the general public finally...
You do not have to call Disney Vacation Club. You can call your travel agent as well, but they need your Disney Vacation Club, whether your travel agent is me or anybody else. They need your Disney Vacation Club member number, and your cruise does have to be booked by calling online. It can be done through your travel agent, or you can call member services. But if you're going to use your regular travel agent, or even I don't know if you can call Disney yourself, but I know that travel agents can book it. We just need your member number.
I guess this is saying call DVC to book with reservation points if you're going to use your points for some reason. So, all right. So once again, Platinum on Monday, Gold on Tuesday, Silver on Wednesday, and Silver includes DVC, Adventures Insiders, and then the general public, everybody who's not sailed yet with Disney Cruise Line can book Thursday, July 28th.
If you are my client, I'm just going to put this out there since we are sailing on the Wish, I will still be booking my clients that need to be booked. If you are not yet my client but want me, I just need to talk to you this weekend because I need to get your information. And if you are my client and want to book, please tell me so that I can take your stuff with me so that we can book it on the cruise. So that is not going to be a problem. If we have to call my agency manager, we'll do it. So these are not issues. I just need to know before I leave town on Monday.
Let's turn into some Wish cruise questions we've got. We won't go through all of them like you were talking about, Christy. I'll try and hit on the ones that are worthwhile.
We know the answers to as well. Yeah. Some of these questions. So let me just say in our Patreon group, we put out, hey, what questions do you have for us? We were going to record. Now that we did this release, we're probably not going to talk as much about our Wish cruise coming up, but we are going to still answer your questions for when we're on the Wish and come back, because some we just
if we don't know the answer now, we'll find it out on board.
Right.
Okay. The first one is for you, Chris. What fish extender did you end up with?
I think we shouldn't talk about that until we come back.
Are we releasing this before then?
Yeah, we're releasing it today, I hope.
Okay. So my kiddo, in a precious giving mood, decided to make our fish extender gift for everyone at our table as well. So everyone at our table is also getting our fish extender gift.
I'm so excited about that. And I have purchased my Kevin gift for everybody at our table as well. So you guys are getting my gift.
Cute. Okay.
Steve, don't worry.
I can't wait to see what Steve and Unawake buy us, and Lake and Katie buy us.
They're buying us nothing.
It's going to be so fun to have people buying us gifts. But anyway, so yeah, we'll tell you all about our fish extender when we get back, including the fact that we made our fish extender hanger. We didn't buy one this time.
Aren't we fancy?
So there was also a question, what platinum level or what Castaway Club or what Patreon level do you have to become with DCL Podcast to be able to see the video of Christy sliding down the slide?
There is no such level. Although maybe
Christy's never even seen this video. It just lives in my phone. I
will look at it. We are going to look at it on the next cruise. And then maybe what I'll do is a Give Kids the World fundraiser for viewing of this video. So
I think we'll raise more money than the Wish Suite.
We might.
Okay, let's move on, because I'm the one that pushes and pushes and pushes. All right, so here's a question overall. They basically saying prices have raised on tastings and the Rainforest Pass on the Wish. I will also say that those prices that they have in tastings are not just on the Wish. They moved them up on all the ships. So we had wine tasting, the stem to stern wine tasting, which Wake and I paid $25 for. And before the sailing sailed in Greece, it had gone up to, I think it's 45 now, or 40 or 45 for wine. So those prices are reflected across the fleet. It's not just the Wish. But did you guys, and I'm not sure if we talked about this too much, did you guys make it into the spa? Did you have any thoughts on the Rainforest Room or the spa on the Wish?
Well, you can see part of the Rainforest Room while you're walking and doing your Titanic moment of being in the front of the ship and hanging over the front type of deal, saying you're the king of the world. That walking path walks by the open rainforest area, and you can see the loungers. So the loungers can see out into that space because you can see through the window. It's huge. The question was kind of like, we're paying so much more, are we getting less or is it worth it? But the outdoor spa space on the Wish is giant. I can't even give a good example. I think it's bigger than what the original downstairs levels of the Quiet Cove pool outdoor space was. I think this is bigger. And somebody just posted a picture on Instagram, one of the officers, crew members. It looks like it has 2 hot tubs, but I don't remember for sure during our walk what we saw.
So the rainforest area, every time we looked down into that little pit, it was empty.
Not one soul.
But
we weren't on a traditional cruise. I don't even know if they sold any.
We don't. Yeah, we
passes.
Actually don't have any idea if the spa was being used very often, because it was clearly the least ready. They were hanging electrical lines when we were on our sailing. We know some friends of the show who booked the same sort of float on air couples experience in the spa. That got canceled because the float on air experience wasn't ready. So it's possible that Seth and I won't get to do that or tell you about it because it has been canceled on recent sailings.
Wake has a massage booked, and I think some of you guys have some things booked. So after this next cruise, we'll be able to report back a little bit on the spa, hopefully.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, except, did you book, if you booked that shave that you always do, Steve, I bet you that's in Hook's Barbery, which is nowhere near the spa.
It is, and actually I canceled that. I'm not going to pay for that this time. So,
oh well,
I'm doing something else instead. Getting a haircut. It's cheaper. And still get to experience it.
Our kiddo is like, I really want to get a haircut at Hook's Barbery. Can I? And I was like, maybe.
All right, let's move on to another question. Let's just kind of stick with this kind of theming. And I didn't mean to make any shade whatsoever about the prices being raised. Obviously, nobody likes to see prices being raised, right. Especially, the tastings. Boy, they've gotten to be pretty high up there. But there was kind of a question just overall. Do you think the Wish has gone too bougie? Did you kind of feel like it was a little bit too much? And I think we touched on this a little bit, but did you feel nickel and dimed at all while you were on the Wish?
No, I don't think there were some maybe higher prices for certain things. And then I got home and I looked at what I paid for a tank top on one of my receipts. But that's the same as Walt Disney World. It costs too much for, certain shirts nowadays.
And that's with a 10% discount.
Well, I looked at the full price amount, but
Okay.
I don't feel like there's more people pushing you to purchase something than on another cruise, than on any other Disney cruise. And I am going to analyze the drink prices when we go back. I do feel like my drink that I had at Castaway was more than normal, but that wouldn't be Wish specific. That would be what they're charging potentially. Maybe it would be, but what they're charging for drinks now. I have a client that's at Castaway today. Maybe I should ask her, like, did you buy a drink and how much was it, to see if somehow the pricing is different. I don't know. I think some drink prices were higher, but I don't know if anything else really seemed higher.
Okay, but overall, just as far as sailing on the Wish, other than the fact she's new and has a different style and everything like that, she didn't feel like she was like way more upscale, charging more money than what you felt like on the other ships, I guess is what I'm getting at. Maybe bougie.
No,
am I asking that correctly?
Yeah, I think you are. No, I think you can still walk around in your t-shirt and shorts and feel just fine and just the same as on any other ship.
Chris,
except for maybe the Rose. Like
well,
the Rose is accessible to everyone, but every time we walked over there, which was only like once or twice, there were people in like cocktail dresses and stuff. But we didn't go into the adult dining area beyond just the foyer, so we can't super comment on that. I'm realizing how many things we didn't see, Christy.
I know we have a lot of research still to do.
Yeah, we never saw the Vibe, like even once. We only saw Edge.
Where is even it located?
Not sure, but I hear there's like a secret elevator to get into the Edge. Didn't see that when we went in there.
There were elevators over on a deck up and above in front of, not elevators, maybe, but the other side of Marceline Market. Remember that staircase that was like over there? I feel like maybe that's involved.
Yes, but that staircase led to the Hero Zone. But generally, I think we already commented on this, but the ship is a maze. And I think that's and not
exciting. Amazing, an actual maze.
Yeah, no. I think that's exciting from the standpoint of like, ooh, I get to explore and find new things every day. Mm-hmm. But if you really love being able to navigate and know exactly where you are, this isn't going to be for you.
It's going to take a minute.
It'll take a second.
Okay, two more quick questions, and then we're going to talk about food because I know you guys will have a lot to say about food. Okay, so were you able to see the bump out veranda cabins? Did they have bigger balconies?
Yes, we were right next to a bump out, and there are not bigger balconies. However, there are bigger balconies on the rooms directly next to and at the start of the bump out, because those rooms are not deluxe family rooms. They're just basic veranda rooms. And the deluxe family uses the bump out real estate inside of the room so that the balcony is about the same size.
Look at you with your balcony room knowledge.
It's just one of my talents. I'm very spatially aware. But I will say, I do think the bump outs are going to be very popular because if you look directly below you, and you're not in a bump out, what you will see is deck 4, 5, and 6, because deck 4, 5, and 6 wrap around the entire ship. And the ship has kind of a pushed in effect, except for where the bump out is. So it's not like you're looking down and right below you is water. What's right below you is a rather wide promenade deck.
We should have bump outs on our Wish sailing. So we should all, and we are all in regular veranda cabin. So we should be
all
able
of us
to
should have slightly bigger balconies because we are in normal size with a slight bump out balcony.
Yep. So we'll try and get some pictures of that to kind of give people perspective of that when we come back. And then the other question was, did we ever do, and I haven't been paying attention to everything that's been put out, but as far as making reservations for Hyperspace Lounge, is that something you do on the app? Do you go to guest services? Do you go to the lounge itself?
There's a cast member sitting out with a laptop in front
of the lounge.
And we were told that on our cruise, which was certainly not at capacity, just to flag for folks, our cruise probably was not sailing even with half of the capacity of the ship. But that experience was fully booked by 9 p.m. on embarkation day.
So you have to book embarkation day for your sea day 2 days later, or whatever else. Is that what you're saying?
And that was an unclear process as to how to do that. And it always basically was like, this is a private event. So you still have to like go up to them, even when it says private event, and try to get your party booked. And
when people were booking at like 8 or 9 p.m. that night, it was like return at 11 p.m. in 2 days. So it's a very popular experience. It's a very small space in there, but it appears to be an improvement on the Skylight Lounge concept times 10. It's very, very cool in there.
Okay, let's turn to food, because this is one part that we didn't really talk a lot of. There was questions about the food quality and what was offered in Marceline Market, and then also up on the pool deck. Where do you guys want to start?
We don't have a ton of experience on the food in Marceline Market.
We have breakfast experience only. We never ate lunch there.
We can touch on that then.
The breakfast was the same.
Okay, nothing different.
There was nothing different except that
the last day had real weird sausage.
Yeah, do not recommend it if it says long link sausage. Avoid the long link. Just get the normal link. What it looked like from what we could see is that it was maybe 4 identical breakfast stations surrounding the area. And then on the very far end, so the aft part of Marceline, was a fresh made egg section. So like cracked eggs, dietary restriction. Maybe you could find someone there to place your order, Christy. Although you would always go to the people up at the front. And then I ordered an omelet from there one time, and it's just like it used to be, where they give you a number and you walk, they find you at your table. But it repeats on both sides. It's mirrored, and right in the middle on both sides, they have a griddle, like where they make waffles and pancakes and stuff.
And like in the back, they also that's where they had the yogurt, and where you could add those little cups where you could add stuff to it as well.
The big actual new thing that not many people are talking about for Marceline is that the front of it is a coffee bar, which is a cocktail bar at night. And that place has cold brew cocktails. So I guess people getting their drink on at 7 a.m. with their coffee. The vibe in that very middle area is super cute. It feels sort of like a 1920s cocktail parlor sort of thing.
Yeah, you can save yourself the extra 5-minute walk to the Cove Cafe by just going there to get your specialty coffee if that was something you were looking for.
Yeah, it basically serves everything that you could find at the Cove Cafe. I think one of the questions that we got from our Patreon was, do they have those pastries and like amuse-bouche type things in the Cove Cafe? The answer is no. The Cove Cafe is by far the smallest and least interesting Cove Cafe in the fleet. And I don't think that I'm overstating that. It is a very small room with minimal theming, as far away from everything else as humanly possible. And they have coffee bars all over the ship now, and it makes the exact same coffee. So I'm sort of like, why would you go all the way to the Cove? Granted, I didn't realize that until the last day, so I did go all the way to the Cove every day. But I don't actually think that's necessary. I think you could go to almost any of these bars that makes coffee drinks, including the Bayou, and get it there for the same quality.
And you could get your morning beignets too, right, Chris?
Yeah, $1.50 each.
Okay, so I kind of got lost in this. Sorry, Christy, when you started talking about milk on our show. But so there's drink stations in Marceline Market, obviously.
Yes.
And then there is like in the regular ships, the older ships, they have, in the back aft end, as you walk into cabanas on one side, there is a drink station there. Is that the way the Wish is too, or do they have it someplace else, or do they not?
There are tons of drink stations in Marceline Market, actually.
Okay.
On the pool deck, there's only one set, well, two, but they're right next to each other.
Yeah.
One set on each side. And that's on the far end of the ship, the opposite end.
Next
basically.
to the food festival.
The quick service. But in Marceline Market, at the drink stations, there is no milk.
Okay.
Either. Everything is cartons right now.
Is there coffee, like just the included coffee at the other drink stations too? Or do you remember?
Yes. And
Maybe.
we need to at all of the there is a coffee station where the juice is, which is typically adjacent to the soda machines. We are going to retest it because there appeared to be a bit of a watering down effect going on with both the soda and the coffee that was significant enough where I could drink an entire cup of coffee and never get that. I usually have to get like a lighter roast because I'm pretty sensitive to the caffeine. I never got that. I've just had a full cup of coffee feeling, and you could like watch it come out. And it was like, I know this is a lot of detail, but it was like coming out clear with the coffee, mixing it together.
There is no brewed coffee. It is like a machine that makes coffee on demand. And
I don't even know if that's happening.
No, much. I mean, literally it squirts out brown and clear until a very beige cup of coffee appears in front of you.
Okay.
So,
that isn't very strong. And that's the part that's killing me is the lack of strength in that included coffee.
I mean, I 1,000% will still be getting coffee at either the Cove or the Pay for Coffee, but you always would. That wouldn't change. That wouldn't change. But I once filled your cup of coffee and was like, ew.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the food fair.
Festival of Foods, I think.
Festival of Foods. What did you guys try there? Because it's been getting rave reviews.
Everything.
I didn't try the chicken tenders.
We almost didn't eat anything except French fries from that. Well, my son ate a hot dog. He was very happy with it. But we didn't eat really much from the grill, the traditional grill station.
The burger, hot dog, fries station.
And here's the thing for those with allergies, they don't have as many cook stations. So our food has to come from inside, and it does take longer as a result of that. Like even my French fries had to come from a vat inside, as opposed to in the original ships, there is a section in the back of all those where they can do the allergy food. And so it's not such a long wait. Like I think we literally waited like 25 minutes for French fries one day. They're working on all of that, but every food item that all of our, my family and that Chris ate, they were amazing.
Okay, so there's barbecue. Barbecue is good, except for your
the mac and cheese is boring, but the barbecue is delicious. I heard someone on a podcast saying it was the best ribs they've ever had in their whole life, and I was like,
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I ate those.
What are we talking
twice.
about? But they are delicious ribs. They're really good. They have good brisket. They have kielbasa. They have jalapeno cornbread muffins. They have
potato salad and
baked beans, maybe. They have collard greens. So that's barbecue, and was always very popular. Also, you can ask for, pro tip, sweet potato fries, and they will make you some sweet potato fries.
Okay, and so then, Chris, being from the West Coast, Mexican food is huge out here. Good street tacos, all that type of stuff all around. Please tell me it's not Taco Bell on board.
It is not Taco Bell on board. It very unfortunately has Donald's namesake, but not Donald's quality. It's very high quality.
I feel like it's like a Chipotle type experience where you...
It has Chipotle vibes for sure, because you go through and you say what you want. They are calling these things tacos, but they are like massive if they are tacos. So
I'm burrito, like a Chipotle burrito sitch.
A folded burrito vibe.
There is not a gluten-free
tortilla option.
At this point. I hope they change that.
Reconsider. But the main meats, I think they did have like a barbacoa, but the main meats that I tried, both of them were the steak and the chicken. Both of them were moist, flavorful, tender, delicious. Apparently, guacamole is included. I don't eat guacamole because of my allergy, but Interesting. Cool. That's included. The pizza for me was a sleeper hit because I've always thought that Disney Cruise Line pizza is preformed dough discs that are like baked, 6 months ago and then just warmed up in a pizza oven. But no longer. They're using fresh dough and they are pressing it similar to the way you would get a pizza in like Blaze Pizza. If you've ever gone to Blaze Pizza on the mainland, good toppings, fresh, really good pizza. It's also open later than everything else. So you can go get pizza, I think, up until midnight. And then the ice cream is no longer going to be self-serve. It is positioned in such a way that it would be impossible to do self-serve ice cream on the ship.
And that's how Marceline Market is too, right? They're plating your items.
It is built structurally into the ship to remove self-serve options across the fleet. That. Like across the ship, I mean. There's no way to serve yourself in any place.
Back to the pizza really quick. The gluten-free pizza is the same normal crust. So it was fine, but it is not life-changing, but it's fine. It was a good option to have. I got to have prosciutto pizza, which is just a super fun alternative.
Something different. Mm-hmm. Well, those are most of the questions we had. Was there anything else, thinking back on your cruise and the podcast that we had before, is talking about the Wish that we didn't touch on that you guys wanted to touch on?
I can't remember. I mean, you were so rushing us that.
It was almost a 2-hour episode. Though some of our patrons were like, I would have listened to a 4-hour episode. Mm-hmm. So, but let's see.
I think we'll come back when we get back from the Wish. Takes. Yes. And we are going to all definitely do snippets. So during the cruise, and then we'll come back and record as a group as well when we get back.
I've got one other question. Was there any merchandise that stood out as far as for the inaugural sailing? So instead of saying, I think like the inaugural sailing had some specific stuff, but beyond that, they're throwing out inaugural sailing. So that a lot of that stuff should be available. Was there anything that stood out that you guys enjoyed or were excited about?
I mean, I loved that there were so many options that said inaugural sailings so that you could go this summer and fall, and early fall, I guess summer. Let's just stick with summer. And you're still a part of this original season. There's a keel coin that a couple of people on this show were very excited about, the replica, and with some pictures. The Pandora charm, they actually have a 3-box, like a 3-charm set that they have a limited number of. When they sell out, they will sell out. But then they have the same dangly Wish charm that is more that
in alignment with the whole fleet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that they also have a charm that it says the Wish on one side and Captain Minnie on the other. There's no Captain Mickey street cred. What else? Because the ship is partnering with Make-A-Wish, there is also a line of Make-A-Wish merch that says inaugural sailings on the bottom. That is really cute.
And the proceeds go to Make-A-Wish, which is fantastic as well.
Yes. So those are cool. There are also really cute mini ears that say inaugural sailings on the back of them. So there's a ton of inaugural sailing merch. There's some generic Wish merch, but not a lot. I would say there's actually more merch that says inaugural sailings than just generic evergreen Disney Wish merch.
There are some really cute coffee mugs. Well, there is a very cute coffee mug that has inaugural sailings on it. There were some pullovers. What I would say is, because what appears to be happening with the merch is that they are pulling a certain amount out when
per sailing.
Yes, when the cruise starts and that first night or whatever. And maybe they're refilling some things because we watched them do this. So there was a particular ornament that I wanted to get that I figured, I'll just come with my family to pick it up because there were so many out there. Well, those sold out. So I would just tell you, buy what you think you want at the beginning. It is all returnable during your sailing, so you can think about it, because I do believe, because they're only putting out so many per sailing so that they can have them, it appears, so that they can have them for the next sailing, except for that Pandora charm, which literally is just going to sell until it sells out. The one particular box set.
Anything else, I guess, as we finish up?
Oh,
with this show?
There's one thing, Steve, that you would probably be like nerdy interested in, but I think it's like $1 bajillion, so you probably wouldn't get it. But they have a 705, which is the ship number, cut in the shape of a Mickey head from the original steel used to make the ship.
And where was that?
In like every shop.
I don't even remember seeing that.
Well, because it was like $300 or $400 and we immediately pulled our hand back and ran away. But yes, there is a very expensive piece of actual steel, like scrap steel. So really they're just making money off of scraps, but steel that was used to make the ship, which is pretty cool. It would look good in your office, Steve.
I saw one of those for the fantasy years ago, and I to this day I still kick myself for not having gotten it. But
well, maybe you're gonna have one for the Wish. It's a 705 on it.
Yeah, we'll see if that one's still available. Okay, as we kind of finish up, then thanks for getting this Cabanas episode out so quickly. Excited to hopefully, as you guys listen to this, if you're willing to send us some negative thoughts about negative COVID tests on Saturday, we would all appreciate it.
Negative vibes.
So we all get that negative COVID test, and we'll be sending it back your way too for your sailings coming up. Christy, if people want to use you or utilize your services as a travel agent once more time with these new bookings coming available Monday for Platinum Castaway Club members, how can they get a hold of you?
You can email me at Christy@PackYourPixieDust. You can find me on social media, mostly stick with Instagram or Facebook. I'll try to check others this weekend, but if you want to reach out to connect with me so that I can have all of your information before I get on the Wish, because it will be harder to take a credit card number while I am sailing.
And if anybody needs somebody to sail with them on any of these upcoming sailings, you can reach out to Steve or Chris through steve@dclpodcast.com, and we'll just provide all the information, our passport information, and you can just book us along with you when you decide to go on that 7-night Southern Caribbean that Chris and I have been dreaming about.
Yeah, we'll be there. I'll plug, since Christy's plugging travel agency, I'll plug join our Patreon. Mm-hmm. We do so many fun things on Patreon, and it's fun to get to know people a little more closely. So that's also a place where you get to see us doing live shows and ask your questions that we answer live. So if you have ever wanted a little extra dose of DCL podcast, join our Patreon. And also, don't be afraid to go onto iTunes or wherever you listen and give us a 5-star review, because it helps people find us. And we want to be found because this community is one of the best things we have. And we want to grow it and learn about all the amazing people who listen to our podcast. So don't be afraid to hit that 5-star review.
So as we finish up, any final thoughts, Christy?
No, just negative. Think negative thoughts.
Chris, any final thoughts?
Negative.
All right. And since Christy and I recorded with Joe yesterday from Disney Deciphered, I guess we'll give a nod to the wonderful Disney Deciphered podcast and say that I will see you guys in Arendelle, hopefully in just a couple days.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for coming back and taking a listen, and we'll see you next time on the DCL podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
The DCL podcast is not affiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.